use the referral link in the description to g2a.com for all of your Xbox codes, PlayStation codes and video games, and be sure to use the code CHES at checkout to get yourself 3% cash back. Hey guys, welcome to episode number 11 of the Youth Road to Glory series here on FIFA 18. End of season 1, it's time to have a season roundup, as we usually do with every series that we do. We'll be having a look at the competitions we were involved in, the other competitions that went on in Europe, so you can see who won the various top leagues, etc. Have a look at the, well, top goal scorer charts are actually on your screen right now, and crucially, have a final squad report to see how well our youngsters have grown this year. One thing I do have to admit, as you guys quite rightly pointed out in the previous episodes, considering this is the first time I've ever done this, and I was just in the motions of going through the menus and stuff, I accidentally just kind of got rid of who was left in my 2 scout reports from Alexander Eriksson and Ewan McDonald. Their final, because they've been out on mission, so to speak, for 9 months, and their final report came back. If you back out of that final report, it actually will then just wipe the slate clean and you lose everyone that was in that report. And I did that with both of these guys without even realising. Thankfully, Anton was not yet finished. In the process of going from the end of the last episode to this episode, he did finish, but the one guy that was worth keeping, I did actually call up, and I actually have him here. It's Niklas Schwartz, who's centre mid, 15 years of age, potential of 82 to 94. To be fair, his physicals for a 15-year-old look decent enough already. So I'm encouraged by him. We have Logan McLean still here in the youth squad. Again, 15 years of age, can't call him up yet. Similarly with Ewan Young, but his stats actually look like they'd be better suited to a centre-back. As you can see, 75 jumping at 6 foot. So I'm hoping that he'll be able to play at centre. Well, I'll probably play him at centre-back anyway. I don't really have to be like, oh, it's not on his profile, so he can't play centre-back. Like, if I want to play him centre-back, I'll probably play him centre-back. And it looks like he's probably going to be a decent player in that position. So, we have 3 good youngsters that I'll be able to call up, hopefully at the very beginning of next season, if not, soon after. And I will have to be wary of making that same mistake again in season number 2, now that you guys have quite accurately pointed it out to me. So, apologies for that, but I'm new to this. There was bound to be mistakes along the way, and that's just one of them, but we've rectified it. So, competitions we were involved in this year. Thankfully, we're inside the top, or inside the screen there as we look at the top of the table. Portsmouth winning the league, Oxford finishing second, and then one of Blackburn, Wigan, Bury or Scunthorpe will go up as well. We finished 19th, of course, 5 points in the end above the drop after picking up wins against Walsall. And did I win against Oldham? I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but we got a decent amount of victories in the final episode, and that was enough to keep us up. We scored 54 goals, which is decent. We conceded 64, which isn't the best, but I'm hoping, obviously, we conceded more goals as we pushed through. We started using more and more of the younger, lower-rated players, but hopefully, as we push further and further through, they'll grow more and more, and obviously, we'll do better. So the aim is to improve on 19th next season. I'd like to finish in the playoffs next year as a minimum. We'll just have to wait and see how it goes. I am still waiting for some strikers, but that's where we'll purposefully, like this year with the youth scouts, I sent them out just looking for anyone. Next year, I'll be a bit more selective with the sort of player that I send them out looking for, so we can perhaps try and cater our scouting requirements to give us the sort of players that we're looking for our squad. Other competitions we're involved in this year, of course. In the League Cup and the FA Cup, we didn't do too well, but Arsenal won the League Cup final. Sorry, the FA Cup final on penalties over Liverpool by 5-4 after a 1-1 draw. Liverpool knocking out Chelsea, Arsenal knocking out Stoke in the semi-finals at Wembley. Manchester United beating Stoke in the final of the Carabao Cup as well. So Stoke had a decent cup run twice, but weren't actually able to do anything with regards final season standings. In the Checkatrade Trophy, Scunthorpe won on penalties against Southampton. I don't really care about that competition, and again, I won't focus on it next year. Scunthorpe also getting promoted from the playoffs then, so congratulations to them for doing so out of League One. That was the pre-season tournament that we lost in the semi-finals of. Champions League, Bayern Munich beat Atletico Madrid by 3-1, and in the Europa League, Roma beat Everton by 2-0. Surprising to see Everton in the Europa League final, and in the World Cup, it's currently ongoing. They're the groups there, as you can see. So we scroll through. In fact, let me do it in a little bit more detail. Netherlands, Uruguay, England and Wales England obviously having drawn against Uruguay in match number 1. Spain, Colombia, Romania, Mexico. Chile, Belgium, Saudi Arabia and Hungary. Brazil, Greece, China and Russia. France, Cameroon, Ireland, Scotland. Germany, South Africa, United States, Poland, Italy, Slovenia, Egypt, Australia, Argentina, Turkey, Northern Ireland, Ivory Coast. They're the groups. I'll check back in Season 2 once we get there to show you who wins the World Cup in the end. But we'll have a quick look at the other top leagues in Europe, and then obviously we'll have a look at things closer to home. Manchester City won the Premier League, Chelsea finishing 2nd, Man United 3rd, Liverpool 4th, then Arsenal and Spurs. Relegated to Palace, Burnley, Huddersfield. Aston Villa and Wolves get automatic promotion, and then one of Norwich, Derby, Forest or Leeds will go up via the playoffs. Joining us next year will be Brentford, Burton and Barnsley. Birmingham also narrowly missing the drop, so all 4 Bs down the bottom. Obviously we've seen who's gone up and gone down from our league. Gillingham, Doncaster, Southend and Blackpool going down. Luton, Mansfield and Lincoln all getting automatic promotion. Luton destroying League 2 with 105 points. Cambridge missing out on automatic promotion by just 3 points. That's really frustrating for me as a big Cambridge United fan. I hope desperately that they've won the playoffs against Notts County, Crewe and or Swindon. They'll have played Swindon in the semis, and then hopefully they won that and went through to the final and then beat Notts County or Crewe. We'll find out in due course. In France, Monaco win Liga by a surprising 7-point margin as well over Paris Saint-Germain. In Germany, Leverkusen win there by 4 points ahead of Bayern. Some shocks. And then, as you might expect, Juventus win in Italy. There's no real surprise. Napoli in 2nd there. Ajax win in the Netherlands. Portugal, Benfica. Russia, CSKA Moscow. Scotland, Celtic. Barcelona, Real Madrid. And Atleti in the top 3 with Real winning by 2 points. And then Atleti a long way behind, and Valencia in 4th. So decent. Right, we briefly saw the goal thing earlier on. My very own Lyle Taylor sharing the golden boot with Connor Chaplin of Portsmouth. If he hadn't gone through that massive goal drought, he might well have won it outright. Have we got anyone else in there in the Wimbledon? I don't really know. Has anyone else scored a massively large amount of goals for me? Kwesi Appiah got 11. I think the majority of those actually came in simulated games. I think I only scored 4 or 5 with him, actually in play myself. With regards... Sorry, I think wrong one. There we go. With regards assists... Bennett and Mauer. Let's have a look. Any Wimbledon players? Kwesi's there with 8 assists, which is decent. And to be fair, I think I probably got most of my assists with Kwesi in-game personally. No one else from Wimbledon in that list, which is annoying. Clean sheet-wise, I'm not expecting anyone to be on here. And to be fair, George Long only got 7. Did Bennett get many? No, none at all. Well, at least less than 4. And bookings-wise, I don't tend to get players booked. So, yeah, no, we'll have a look at the board expectations just quickly. We completed both the youth development ones, which was good. Brand exposure, we got that as well. Sell out at least 85% of at least 50% of home games, and we sold at least 85% attendance at 20 of the 23 matches, which is great. Obviously, you only needed to get 12 to ensure that we matched that one. We kept player salary growth under 20%. Growth was actually at 0%, probably would have been in the minuses if it actually recorded it. And finished the season with a profit margin of 8.8 million. I haven't done that at all, I don't think. I'll check the finances tab just to see what my actual... I think I actually made a deficit, but I'm not sure. They want me to finish mid-table, finishing 19th. That didn't register as mid-table, understandably. And they wanted me to get to the round of 32 in the FA Cup. And obviously, we lost before we got to that stage. Round of 64, I think we lost in, which is... Third round? Second round? No, third round. We played Everton, didn't we? And then lost. Obviously, no continental stuff. Finances, yeah, we made a loss of 1.13 million this year. So, unfortunately, I wasn't able to to do the financial expectation, but that's not a problem. Right, final squad report then of the season. A few players have been on loan this year and obviously will be leaving us, so we won't have them next season, including George Long. He's actually up 2 this year. Bennett up 23 now. I've stopped training him now. As you guys quite rightly said, if I train him too much, he'll start to feel like he's too good for the team and try and force a move. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I've stopped training him. He's up to 73 rated overall. Fingers crossed, he'll be great for us for the next at least 2 seasons. Maybe 3, maybe 4 if he continues to grow. We have Morrison, who I'm now training. He's up 9. He'll be my backup keeper. George Long will leave us. Obviously, as we say, he was on loan this year. And Sanev I'll probably sell as well, providing that Bennett wants to stay or doesn't try and force a move. That's just 2-star skill moves and a 4-star weak foot, Dominic Bennett, weirdly. At right back, Sean Cooper's up 10 to 64, which is good. Can play at right back or left back. Obviously, a number of the youngsters have been heavily trained, so that's where there's been some large improvements. But a couple of the younger players that I haven't trained have still grown. Patrick Strachan up 1 here at 49 rated now. Hopefully they continue to grow. All of the guys that I've called up have potentials to reach the low 70s and upwards. Will Robinson has grown by +5. I started to train him, and then we got Cooper, who was obviously better. So I concentrated on Cooper. But Will Robinson will definitely provide some backup for us at least. Oshilaja obviously played a lot of games for me this year. Very, very solid. Just extended his contract as well as it was about to run out at the end of the season. I wanted to make sure that if he is to leave, I want to sell him so I can get the money and put it towards a better scout. But yeah, Oshilaja was decent up to this year. Raul Bejarano, obviously he was a free agent. And I will be looking at the free agents again at the beginning of season number 2. I haven't got any money left right now to look at free agents at this late stage of the season, but we'll have a look at regens in the free agents as well. He was very solid for me and hope that he continues to grow as well. Darius Charles, I believe he's leaving me on a pre-contract to go somewhere else actually, which is frustrating, but fair enough. Dimitrov was another free agent actually that we brought in, a regen, and played very, very well for me. Extremely good left back. Very pleased with him. 68 rated. Again, will be my starting left back for the considerable future, I would have thought. Kennedy, Callum Kennedy, current IRL player. I'll try and sell him. I may have already sold him. I can't quite remember. Owens is leaving me at the end of the season. His contract ran out and didn't see the point in renewing it. McKenzie, +5 for the left back. Decent physical stats. And technically growing across the board as well. Hoping a number of youngsters, Meads has been sold already, I'm hoping a number of youngsters will grow off their own back and I won't actually have to train them too much. Alistair McCall, we've got a lot of defenders. Obviously, some of these guys I will be able to sell as their surplus to requirements just to free up some cash for other either free agent signings with wages or better scouts. Lucas Clark is up 3, 56 rated, another left back. My Scout Future Star, 5-star weak foot on him, Ruben Hara. I will be using the Scout Future Star again next season as well, but +10 for him this year. I've been training his standing and sliding tackle, basically just his tackling stats. I've now moved on to training his passing, and as you can see, his passing is now doing quite well as well, up to 69 short passing. I may concentrate on his passing a little bit more, get those to like the early 70s, and then go back to his tackling, just to ensure that he continues to improve as a CDM, and hopefully he will continue to grow off his own back as well, being that he's a Scout Future Star. Stoyanov, he's come in. Was he a free agent as well? I don't think he was. Can't remember. No, he was. He was, wasn't he? Was Stoyanov a free agent? I think I signed 2. Dimitrov, Bejarano, and I think Stoyanov was another. I think. I might be mistaken. If I am, then correct me. But I've signed so many youngsters in this save, I can't remember who's who at times. Aiden Peterson, 53 rated CDM, can supposedly play centre-back as well. So might have to utilise that, although he's only 53 rated at 18 years of age. Not growing that well, but nice to have as a backup, especially considering Darius Charles is leaving us. However, we do have that young centre-back in the youth academy and the right-back that will probably be used at centre-back as well. So we might not need Aiden Peterson at centre-back. Duncan Scott played a few games for me this year, actually, Duncan Scott. I thought he played more than 7, actually. Ewan Wright was decent for me out on the right-hand side. Growing quite nicely. 62 rated. Be nice if he could get into the late 60s at the end of season 2. Gordon Taylor, he's the 5-star skiller, of course. He came in around January or later in the season. Played 11 games for me. Didn't do that well, but I'm hoping that he can continue to grow. I'm hoping that everyone can continue to grow for obvious reasons. Gordon McCall, 1-star weak foot, 1-star skill moves. I don't think I'll be using him much next year. I might look to sell him on. Tom Saws is leaving me on a free. Hartigan I've sold. He's up to. Liam Trotter, I believe, is still under contract and I haven't sold him yet, but I will look to move him on next year. Abdu was on loan and he will leave me, although he had a decent season, 6 goals, 5 assists. Harry Forrester was on loan and he will leave me, which is a shame because I really enjoyed Harry Forrester. 6 goals, 4 assists, but obviously we're a youth road to glory, so we're going to concentrate on the youth players. Andy Barcham, he too was on loan, I believe. No, he was one of my players, was he? Oh well, whatever. He's going to leave me anyway. Dave Walker, he's promising. He had one of the higher reaches with regards to potential, I believe, and his stats look decent. His physicals aren't the best. I'd like for them to starting to improve, but he was all right. Well, I felt like he played better than an average of 6.3, to be honest. Dave Murray has come in, 4-star skills, 3-star weak foot. I'm training him currently in his passing, and as you can see, 67 short pass, he's getting there. Overall at 60, but perhaps if I trained his ball control and his dribbling, that might boost that a little bit. It's because he's a cam, not a centre mid by default, but can play at centre mid, as you can see. Physical's looking okay. Riley Campbell's another player that looks very good potential-wise. Again, slightly frustratingly, out injured for a long period for the second time. But really good base stats to grow from. Good free kick accuracy, good short passing. As soon as he's able to be trained, I might start training him as well. He will most certainly start alongside Ruben Hara next year, that is for sure. Aidan McCall out on the right-hand side. I've got a number of wingers this year. He's got 3-star skill moves. Did he play many games for me? He didn't play at all. It was Hughes that played. And, of course, Bell as well. Bell up 13. Actually, I'm probably going to starting him, to be fair. Dribbling up 29. He's had quite a bit of training this year. Short passing up 23, ball control up 21. His physicals look good, and they are growing as well, which is good news. So I shall probably use him starting on the right hand side. He's 6 foot as well, I believe. Is he 6 foot? Yeah, 6'2". So hopefully. You guys wanted to see the status as well. I'm not sure which is which. You'll have to let me know in the comment section which status. Like which phrasing in the status means what their potential is, because obviously once you move them from the youth squad to the main squad, you can't check what their actual potential is. So I'll go through the whole list at the end and show you the statuses, and then you'll have to let me know who's who or which is which. Antwi Niame I've actually sold between the end of last episode and beginning of this one, so he's going to leave me. Cody McDonald is, I think he was on. Oh no, he's not on loan, but he's on the transfer list. And is his contract expiring? No, he's got 4 years left on it. Well, hopefully I'll sell him next year then. Joe Piggott was terrible. I didn't use him. Kwesi, still waiting for a first out-and-out striker as a youth player. But we relied quite heavily on Lyle Taylor and Kwesi Appiah this year. 22 goals for Lyle, 12 for Kwesi, 8 assists, 5 for Lyle Taylor. I do need a striker. I do need a youth striker. And hopefully there'll be a regen, at least in the free agents that I can sign next year. At the beginning of the season 2, I was going to go through and show you the status, wasn't so showing great potential. You've got showing great potential. He's on loan. Just says at the club, so I presume his potential isn't that good. But obviously goalkeepers doesn't really matter. You can train them amazingly well anyway. Cooper says an exciting prospect. So we've got an exciting prospect and showing great potential as two statuses. At the club, at the club, at the club, at the club. Joining Millwall. At the club, at the club. Contract expiring at the club, transfer listed at the club, Really? Is there no... Oh, joining Doncaster, joining Drogheda, at the club, on loan, joining Burton. Showing great potential, joining Finn Harps, and the rest were all IRL players. So we got showing great potential, and... It was the goalkeeper, wasn't it? It was the other one. Showing great potential and an exciting prospect, which was Cooper. So I'm not sure which is which. Like, what means, like, what bracket of potential rating is their potential? Obviously, goalkeeper, it doesn't necessarily matter because I can just train. But outfield players, an exciting prospect, is that early 80s, late 80s, or showing great potential is that late 80s, early 90s? I'm not sure which way around it is. We'll have a quick look at the youth players again and see what they're... Does it say what... Doesn't say, does it? He's physically strong, apparently. All 3 are physically... Or 2 are physically strong. And then we've got the attacker as well. Although I searched for an attacker, and he's actually a centre mid. But presumably, that means he can play at cam as well once I call him up. Otherwise, it would be weird for him to be a centre mid, and then he came through when I searched for attackers with my scout. But never mind. Yeah, I can't quite see the potential. Well, you can see their rating potential, but not what the... phrasing would be, but obviously I only need to know the phrasing because I can't see the actual number potential. Ewan Young looks like he's going to be a very good player, 86 to 92. 71 to 77 for McLean isn't the best, but obviously you can train a centre-back and doesn't necessarily have to be too good on the ball. If you can just train his tackling stats, then hopefully he'll be pretty decent. And then the centre-mid, 82 to 94 as well. So promising for both of those two, very promising. And Logan McLean could just be a good backup player, might grow beyond his potential with a little bit of training. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But That is the situation at the end of Season 1. Hopefully you've enjoyed this series to this point. I'm very much enjoying doing it as well. Do drop the video a like if you enjoy. Let me know which countries you think I should send my scouts to at the beginning of next season. And I will do so accordingly. Subscribe to the channel too to make sure you don't miss out on Season number 2. Obviously check the channel page itself for anything you may have missed in this series or the Southampton one. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I'm very much looking forward to improving in Season 2. And I'll see you then.